we shall be continuing on web page design. We're looking at the introduction to web page design. And let me pull this to the side. And let me ask you guys a few questions to see if you guys remember anything from the last class. So, in the last class, we would have looked at what is web page design, what is a web page, what are the different features, basically aspects we need to know about it. So, does anyone remember what is the software that you have to use to view a browser? What is the name of the software that you have to use to view a browser, um, a web page? I see two persons try to unmute, but not hearing anything.
So, Arnan, the browser you use to find the web page.
Good. So even though it slipped, I wanted to see if anybody was still sure. So that is correct. So view to view a web page, you have to use a browser. Good. What are some examples of browsers? That's important to remember also. What are some examples?
Chrome.
Our Google Chrome, good.
Firefox.
Firefox, good.
Safari.
Safari, good. We know the Mac users, the Apple. What else? Anything else?
Microsoft Edge.
Microsoft Edge, good. Opera, and there's a lot more. So it's important for you to know what are some of the most common ones so that you can differentiate it from anything else. Good. So we had some examples of browsers there. Next question is, what do we use to create a web page or a website? What language?
The hypertext markup, I think is the
HTML.
Good. Anybody agree? Anybody disagree?
agreed.
Agreed? Good. HTML, and as Atavia mentioned, hypertext markup language. Very good. So that is the language used to produce or create a web page. Good. So next question. Um, um, is HTML a programming language?
No.
No. Very good. No. HTML is not a programming language. It's just simply a language, and you could also say it is a markup language. So, the fifth question, what are the codes in HTML called?
Tags.
Very good, tags. Where's my cursor? I'm not finding my cursor. Good. Tags. Very good. And that's actually why it's called tags, and why it's not called a programming language is because the content that you're putting on a web page, imagine this is a web page, this page here that you just draw. If you want to put a line of text into that web page, you have to put it between something called the tags. So just imagine those two quotation marks as the tags. And the tags basically indicate where the content will go. So if you want it in the center, then you're gonna have to use a tag that will put it in the center. If you want it to be on the left, then you're gonna need to put a tag that is going to make it go on the left. So that's why it's called a markup language, because you're basically marking where different content will go. If you want a picture somewhere at the bottom here, then you need to put a tag indicating it should go at the bottom there. And to the right, and whatever else formatting or position or design you want with it. Good. There are two reasons why we use HTML. Two reasons. What are the two? Why? What are the basic reasons we use HTML?
Sir, to share documents and link to other documents.
Okay. So one, to share, and two, to link. So when you go on the internet and you go to Google and you type in a certain word and you get all of those web pages, they are being shared with you. All of those articles that you read on Wikipedia and all those other websites, they are being shared with you through those HTML documents. Remember, our web page is called, also can be compared also to a document. Just like how we have a Word document, our web page is like that kind of document. Just that we're using another software called the browser in order to view that document. And then lastly, we have the link. We use the link so that we can access the other web pages. We're on one page, we can go to another page. So when you open Google and you get all of those links, and all of these links come up here, that is another use of the HTML to take you to another location, to take you to another document, or to allow you to download something. Good. Seventh question. What is the name of the location, or what is the term that refers to the location of the website? What do we call it? So www.google.com is the name or the location of Google. What do you call that?
The URL.
The URL. Good. That's one term that we can use to call it. There's a few other terms that we can use. Anybody remember? The URL. What else?
Sir, the search engine.
Search engine? No, not search engine. That's something else. We can come to that just now though.
Oh, okay.
Yes, what else?
Repeat the question, please.
Another name for URL, or another term that we can use instead of URL.
Is it the web link?
Web link, that's one. Good. That's one also, a web link. And there's other similar terms, web link, web address, or we can simply say address alone, or we can say link alone, or we can say I think there's a few more, but as I come across them, I'll let you guys um, know. But those can refer to the same www.google.com, that link name, the name of the website, any name of any website. It can be referred to any one of these terms, but you mostly call it the URL. Anybody remembers what URL stands for?
Uniform Resource Locator.
Very good. Uniform Resource Locator. So URL, web link or link, web address or address, they basically refer to the same thing. Good. Now, Chicha brought it up. Search engine. Anybody remembers what is a search engine? Very important to remember. What is a search engine? It's as the name indicates. The name actually tells you what it does, but what exactly does it do? So the name indicates that it searches, but it's an engine that searches, but what does it search for?
It searches for the web pages, right?
Right. Or instead of saying web pages, it searches for, it helps you find exactly what you want. Okay, but more specifically, yes, it helps you find what you want, but more specifically, it is looking for, you can say different web pages. Yes, you can say that. It's searching for the different websites, the different web pages that are on the internet that would have the different content that you want. So if you're looking for a tree and you type in tree, you're going to get a bunch of results from different web pages, from different websites. You're going to get a bunch of links to content that will, or websites, give you that same, would give you the what you were searching for, basically. Good. All right. So you got to remember the difference between a website and that search engine. So there is a website and then there is a web page. What is the difference between the two?
Sir, the website is made up of web pages.
Good, very good. And what is the web page now? What is a web page?
Sir, something could we do with like one page or something?
Very good. That is exactly it. So a single page, a single, just like how a document might have a single page, or a book would have a single page, that is a web page, one single page. And a website is like a book. It is made up of multiple pages. So a website is made up of multiple web pages. But one web page can be a website. Having just one web page can be a website. Let's see what else. Great. So you guys did reasonably well. Congratulations. You can give yourself a clap. You did reasonably well. That was most of the content we would have covered in last week's class. So what we're going to do today, we're going to continue with what are the categories of websites, what are the different types of websites that we can have that falls under those categories, and then lastly, we're going to look at how do we plan to create a website, because remember your SBA is going to be based on developing a web page. So how do you plan to develop a web page? We're going to look at that also. So the first thing we're going to look at is what are the categories of websites. And the first is a static website. Let me start from the bottom tonight. Shaniza, can you read static for us?
The concept of this generally
We're barely hearing you, Shaniza.
you can hear me now?
Yeah, better.
The content of this website remains generally the same and this way is like an online version of a paper-based brochure. Viewers cannot search for content. Editable brochure. No.
Let me look at that first and then we can look at the other one. Right. So a static website. What is a static website? Well, the content on this website, it basically remains the same. So it's like if you're looking at a paper brochure, like if you're looking at a book that was already printed, but just that you can view it on the internet. So whatever content is on this website, it's just like if you're gonna go to a website and you're gonna find a page like this here. It's only for you to view the content, for you to read the content. It is static in that it will not change, or you cannot change it. So with this website now, you cannot search for content. It's only for you to view whatever the person who would have created that web page or website for you to view. So it's kind of like it's actually kind of like this PDF that I have open here, where you go to a page and you could only view the information that they would have posted for you to view. And I think I would have mentioned this in the last class. This is actually how the internet was when it was first created. When the internet was created, it was basically for sharing information. It wasn't for persons to, like how today we can go on Facebook, we can go on Instagram and post our pictures or videos and comment on other person's pictures and videos also. It wasn't like that. We couldn't have interacted with websites and others back then. It was mostly to share information, to share. So like how you would have say an assignment, you're working with your friend and you share a document, it is like that. So you wanted to share that document or that information with other persons in the world, and the way they could have done that or quickly done that was through the internet. So they would have shared that content statically over the internet. Now, our next type or category of website is the editable brochure. We're starting about Shania. Shania, are you there?
Edit- Yes, sir. Editable brochure website. This website is the interactive version of the brochure website. Content is stored as it is updated so that visitors can search for and view past articles, web pages, or other content.
Good. So as time progresses, persons realize that we also want to share content. We also want to add information because we're reading information, but what if we have a more updated version? What if we know another side of the story? So then came a website now where we can interact with it. We can, so where's my pencil? Okay, so we can interact with this website. So the content that is on the website now is stored as it is updated so that visitors can we can now search for the content. We can view past articles, web pages, or other content. So something like Wikipedia, where you can go on Wikipedia and you can view articles, different articles, and search for articles that you want and reference other articles that relate to the one that you're looking at. So if you're looking at plants, you can be able to look at another article that relates to plants, maybe the different types of plants or the different categories of plants, and so on. So you now can interact with the website. And the website can also update its contents. Next, we have a dynamic website. Sahid?
Mhm. Yeah. Here, dynamic website. Here, a user can log in and create new content, add content, insert images, and generally control what is viewed on the website.
Good. So, what does that sound like to you guys? From reading that definition, what website you think that sounds like to you? Anybody want to make a guess?
Sorry, it's on Gmail.
Gmail, okay. Let's see, Gmail, add content, insert image, any control view. Okay. Um, you're getting the right idea, but Gmail, you don't really put content on Gmail. You send content, but you don't really put content. So a dynamic website, go try it out. A dynamic website is a website that you interact with. So this is going to be most of the social media websites that we have today. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, and all of those, where you can create an account, log in, you can add your content like Pinterest, you can upload your pictures, insert pictures, control what is on the website. So you can control what images, what videos, what animation, what text will be on this website. That is a dynamic website. So YouTube, Facebook, most of those websites, most social media sites that you can interact with. Next, we have an e-commerce website. Indira.
E-commerce website. This is a website that is integrated to receive online payments from visitors to the website.
Right. So what does that sound like to you guys now? Any guesses?
Sir, wait, Cash App?
Cash App? Could be, but I'm not
Sorry.
sure. Could be. Can you buy things on Cash App?
Sir, Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon. How does Cash App function?
So I don't know, but because I don't work in there, you know. So,
No. I think Cash App is mostly to.
Sir,
Is Cash App like MMG?
yeah.
Yeah.
Then I think Cash App would be one of these e-commerce websites also. Um, but the e-commerce websites are going to be mostly those that offer a service of buying and selling. So Amazon, eBay, Etsy, and whatever Walmart, whatever the other websites are that you can go and buy stuff on, those are e-commerce websites. They're integrated to receive online payments from visitors to the website. So the purpose of the website is to receive payments so that they can provide to you whatever service or product they are offering. So, like Amazon, where you can browse a bunch of items and you provide them your money and they would ship the item to you. That is an e-commerce website. And lastly, the last category is a web application. Indira, sorry, Hadia.
A web application. Web apps provide push notifications and can be added to a device's home screen without having to download it from an app store. Twitter Lite, Pinterest, and weather apps are examples that push notifications to the user's phone or browser.
Good. Have any of you ever used Facebook Lite?
No, sir. Facebook is for the ghettos.
Well, well, I'm assuming you use Twitter Lite.
No, sir.
Your phone got enough space to the full version.
Correct is right.
So what happened is that some of these applications they take up a lot of storage on your device. Um, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, they take up a lot of space. And what happens is that these applications, in addition to taking up space, they also download a lot of content to your device and keep it on the device. And it ends up taking up more space. So they developed a web technology whereby instead of using the application, because when you don't want to store something on your phone, you would normally access the website version. Because when you go through a browser, you don't really have to install anything and take up a lot of space. So you use the browser to access the information. Now, what they did now is incorporate the two. They took the application, but they made a web version of it. So you're still going through the application, but it's as though you are viewing a browser through that web application. And that is a web app or a web application. So for this application, you're gonna need basically constant internet connection because it's going to have to pull all the notification just like a browser to that web application. But the purpose of it basically is to reduce the amount of space that would be taken up on the device. But because the functionality is going to be like that of a browser. It's like if you're using a browser through that application. So we have examples like Twitter Lite, Pinterest, weather apps, Facebook Lights, and so on. Good. So those are the categories of websites. Are you guys following so far?
Yes, sir.
All right. Only one person following. Good. So next paragraph, we are going to have Fantasia. Could you read that?
Websites are popular because they cater to all types of audience for education, entertainment, sports, or informational purposes. Knowing the purpose of a website therefore sets the tone for its content and organization. Creating a website that is formal and informal reflects the seriousness or carefree impression that visitors will use to decide if they continue to browse the page. Table 6.2 provides example of some types of websites and their purpose.
Good. So this paragraph actually leads up to our next paragraph, our next topic that we're going to look at, planning your web page. So Before you actually, not before, one of the first stages of planning, I would say, when it comes to your website, is to determine what is the purpose of your website. Why are you creating this website? So, knowing who is your audience or who is your target audience, who are you targeting? Who do you want to be on your website? Is it young children? Is it teenagers? Is it people who are working? Is it adults? Is it old people? Um, is it only females? Is it only males? Who are you targeting on this website to view this content? So that's important for you to look at when you're designing a website. Who are the people you are targeting? Who is your audience? Who is going to view your content? With that, now you also need to think about what is the purpose of the website. So they basically go hand in hand. Who are you creating it for? What is the purpose of sharing it with them? Is it for education? Are you educating only females? Are you educating only males? Are you educating teenagers? Or are you providing some form of entertainment for teenagers? Maybe some form of online game or something. So when thinking about a website or when persons are choosing to develop a website, you need to think of who is your audience, who is your target audience, who is going to view your web page. And also in line with that, what is the purpose of your web page? Is it for education, entertainment? Well, these are just some limited purposes. But you have to think now, why do I want to create this website? Is it to create my business? Is it to sell products? And who is my products targeting? Is it school children? So those are things you need to think about. And that will determine the tone of your website and the organization of the website. So tone in that you would have to determine what colors you're going to use, what designs you're going to use, what animation, what graphics, basically what you're going to use to attract persons. So let me ask you guys a question. If you're going to design a website for children, what kind of colors would you use for design?
All the colors. Something bright that will catch attention.
Exactly, good. All the colors, something bright, you want to catch the attention. Because children, they like bright colors, they like fancy things. So you want something that's gonna pop, that's gonna catch the attention. But now think about older persons. If older persons were to be on this website, you're designing a website for older persons. How would you plan the colors?
So some neutral colors like nude and everything.
Good.
Green.
And what about the intensity? What would you do about that?
Dim the light because it might affect the eyes.
Good, very good. So you want to dim the brightness of the colors. You want to use more, not too dark, but still not too bright, some neutral colors, as Fantasia mentioned, so that it doesn't affect them, so that it doesn't affect their health. So things like that you need to take into consideration when you are developing your website. If you're going to be developing a website for a party, what would you have in your website?
Balloons and bright colors, I think.
Good. What other content? What other content would you expect on a website that is advertising a party?
The
So
birthday
like balloon and
Tablecloth,
confetti.
candles,
Good.
etc.
So, what about posters and videos of what you're gonna be like and things like that? But you can also see the colors based on the party and so on. Good. Now, would you use that same theme if you were going to create a website for a business that you're starting up? Maybe you're selling school supplies to children. Would you use that same design? I hope not. Seems like some of you will. So you would not, you should not use that similar design for if you are creating a web page for a business that you're going to be providing materials to school children. So you need to think about who you're targeting, what is the purpose of your website, and that will help you to know what kind of content am I would be safe for me to put on this website, what kind of tone should I have, what kind of design should I have, how should I organize my content. Knowing all of that will help you in those areas. Good. And that's why when you go on different websites, they don't all look the same, because all of them they have different target audience, and they have to cater for all of those audiences. Or if they don't, then they can lose those basic those potential customers. So it can affect those visitors to the website. So let's look at some types of websites that we have that we can basically choose from if we are interested in actually developing a website. What are the different? These are just some of the different types of websites. Let's see. Chitra, you can read the first two: entertainment and corporate.
Okay, sir. Entertainment. These websites use videos, graphics, and live streaming to market their products or for entertainment. Many online games and video sites use Adobe Flash software to display content. So sometimes people call entertainment sites flash websites. Examples: YouTube, Netflix, sports sites, online games, cxe.org, or oup.com. Cooperate, also called a business website, which uses a website for marketing and not to conduct business. The website provides information to users about the company and can also provide customer support.
Good. So our first two types of websites is the entertainment and corporate. So the entertainment website, as the name indicates, it's for entertainment. It's going to have videos, it's going to have graphics, it's going to have live streaming, it's going to have games. So it's the basic function of this website is to provide entertainment. And there are different forms of entertainment. So whatever form you choose will be on those websites. So for example, YouTube. YouTube is an entertainment website because it provides a variety of videos. Netflix provides movies. Sports sites provide a series of channels that you can watch various sports on. Online games allow you to play a bunch of games. So those are entertainment sites. Now, corporate sites are basically used for marketing. Business students, what is marketing? Let me now go to the science students. Science students, what is marketing?
So marketing is the buying and selling of goods. That's the basic definition.
Basic definition, good. Anybody with any other definition? But not only buying, Marketing is also dealing with advertising or making your product known, promoting your product. So, marketing, the action or business of promoting, that's the aspect we're looking at. And selling product or service include market research and advertising. So, that's the aspect we're looking at here, promoting and advertising. So, corporate sites are used for marketing in terms of advertising or promoting their product or their service that they're offering. They are not used for business. So their main use is to provide information. So for example, cxc.org, OUP, that is a university of Oxford University. Yeah, Oxford University Press. Good. So their purpose is not business oriented. It's mostly to share their information with persons so that they can provide those information to the public. And the public is going to be who they are serving. So that's going to be persons who are basically attending these institutions. Good. So next we have shopping and information. Octavia.
Shopping. These are e-commerce websites selling products. Users can browse and select products and pay online with methods such as a credit card or PayPal. Examples: Amazon and eBay. Information. These websites provide users with a repository of historical and current information, such as news as it happens around the world. Other websites provide information in the form of encyclopedias, training, or general education. Examples: Wikipedia, MSNBC, Fox News, CNN, Notesmaster, Caribbean 360.
Good. So shopping, as the name indicates, it is used for shopping. They are e-commerce websites that are used for selling, or even some allow us to buy. Um, we can buy products from the website, and we can also sell our products on the website. So some work both ways. For example, eBay, even Amazon, I think they recently started allowing you to be able to resell a product if you would have purchased it and so on. So you can browse items on the website, select the product, pay for it online with a credit card, PayPal, or your Cash App, and examples Amazon, eBay, and so on. Information websites, as the name indicates, it is to provide information. A repository on historical information, current information, news around the world, encyclopedias, training, general information, general education, basically providing information. Wikipedia, MSBN, Fox News, CNN, and so on. All right, the next three. Akira.
Sir, from where?
Community, academic, and personal.
Community building or social networking. These websites focus on the social interaction of people who want to communicate with others who share a common interest. Users share personal details, pictures, and events with friends, family, and acquaintances. Academic or professional. Users share their resumes, portfolios, and career accomplishments online for potential employers and clients. Personal or blogs. Personal websites are created and owned by individuals who share their personal profiles and specific interests. These websites are weblogs or blogs. generally online diaries, journals, or editorials that reflect whatever is going on in the writer's life or business. The writer may even comment on politics or news or share personal opinions.
Good. So, our next type of website is the community building or social network. And all of you should be familiar with these websites. They are used for social interaction, for you to communicate, share your interests, share your personal details, your pictures, your events, your family, your acquaintances, and so on. So, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all of those, they are social networking sites. Academic or professional, they are used to share your professional information. So your resume, your portfolio, your career accomplishments, so that persons can basically see what you have done so far and be able to know if you are a qualified person that they can be interested in. So LinkedIn, academia, ResearchGate. LinkedIn is the one of the common ones where you can post your credentials, where you would have worked, what skills you would have gathered, um, what are your qualifications, and they basically connect you to different organizations and businesses and so on, so that if, for instance, they have a vacancy, they can attach you to one or basically show you a business or institute that would be interested in a person like you. And then we have personal or blogs. With these websites, they are owned by a person, an individual, so that they can share their personal information, their personal interests, and so on. So it's like an online diary, journals, editorials, so that you can share your opinion, share your life, share your business, share your thoughts, your feelings on this website. So personal blogs, forums, and weblogs, video logs, vlogs. And the last two types of websites, mobile and directories. Abdur. Abdur Stolitin.
No, sir.
Alright, go ahead.
You mobile, right, sir?
Yeah, mobile and directories.
These websites are ideal for mobile devices and are often offered as an alternative to the normal version of a website when connecting with mobile devices. Their content is viewed better on a narrow screen with and uses less data to display the information. These websites are a type of online directory. However, instead of searching alphabetically, users can search terms and phrases in search engines.
Good. So remember, you have to know the differences between all of these types of websites. What is entertainment, corporate, shopping, information? What are they all being used for? And a very important one for you to remember is, what is a mobile website? Well, basically, a mobile website, we have to think of a normal website. So when you go on the internet and you go to um, google.com and you type in, say for example, Facebook, and you're on Facebook. Now, it actually looks different from how I first knew it. Either way, so normally in the past, this would have taken up the entire screen of giving you a whole bunch of information. Well, it's exactly like how Google is doing it right now. It's taking up the entire screen with information. And if you were to actually open this same page here on your mobile device, it would be too small for you to view the information. So they had to create a mobile version of the website. That is why when you use your phone to go on the internet through your browser and your phone, all the information fits on the screen of your phone. That's because the person that created that website, they would have also created a mobile version of that website. So they're not giving you the desktop version. So whenever you use your phone, they're actually already detecting that you are using a smaller device, and they will give you that mobile uh, website so that the content is going to be viewed better on that smaller display. Now, any of you ever use your browser in your phone and you ever notice that there's an option to give you the desktop site? You can try it out. On your phone, there's the browser. If you go to your settings, um, you're gonna notice there's an option for a desktop site. And if you were to click on that option on your phone in the browser, you're going to notice that it's going to give you the desktop version of a website. Anybody tried it?
Sir, can you repeat, please?
So in your browser on your phone, you basically have to look for where is it set in. So for example, are you using Chrome on your phone?
No, sir, I'm on Safari.
Good. Look for wherever is the menu. Click on the menu inside of the browser, and it should give you the option. One of the options should be desktop site or something along those line of terms, website or something like that.
Sir, is it in search settings?
Search settings. Not really. I wouldn't know because never really use um, Safari. Where's our class? Give me a second. Let me see if I can show you guys. Join. Alright, do you guys see? You guys see my screen there?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so I'm going to go to our browser, and I'm inside of this browser here, and I'm going to click on the three dots there. That's my menu, and if you notice at the bottom, I have an option there of desktop site. So if you notice this website here, I can scroll up and down. There is no left and right. I can scroll up and down, and I can see the information easily. But when you go to the three dots, you can click on desktop site. Notice how smaller everything got, because this is a desktop version of that website. If you go to Google and you type in, notice the difference there. And if I switch back to a mobile site, Notice how it fits everything neatly on that on this page here. And when you go back to desktop site, it is what was developed for a web page. So that is why desktop sites would have been created. Sorry, mobile sites would have been created so that you can view information properly on your smaller devices. All right, let me find back. Something. You guys see my screen? My computer screen?
Yes, sir.
Good. So the last type of um, the last type of website is the directories website, and as the name indicates, it is for an online directory. So instead of having that large book that you would get based from GT&T with all those numbers inside and all those names and so on, you can have an online version of it. Yellow Pages, Google, Bing, and so on. So those are some of the common types of websites. Those are the descriptions.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
For directories, can like Google Translate the website, can that be considered a directory website?
I don't think so because well, I'm trying to figure out. It indicates here that Yellow Pages is an example. So I'm assuming that the directory they are referring to is a directory of phone numbers and information about a person. So Google Translate that's a different type of website.
Okay, sir.
Mhm. Well, what would that fall under? Providing information? No. A directory?
Information or academic?
No, it won't fall under that. This is for more personal use. I'm wondering. Let me see. A directories website. Web directory link directly is a online listing of website that is a directory on the World Wide Web. Historically, directories. Entertainment information. I think it would fall under other websites provide information in the form of encyclopedias, training, education. I think that might fall under education. Information. Information.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I think it would fall under that. But like I said, these are not all the types of websites. So there might be an educational type of website, and then it might fall under that category there also. But good question though. Good question. All right. So, any other question on the categories and the types of websites before we continue? All right. Good. So we looked at the categories, we looked at the type. So now what we're getting into is the last stage, which is planning for our website or planning for our web page. Now, I already said when we were looking at this paragraph here, some of the fundamental steps or the important basic first steps that you need to take is determining who is your target audience, who you are targeting, and what is the purpose of your website. Those are some of the first steps when it comes to creating your website or your web page. Who is your audience? Who is your what is your purpose? And notice here, it will help you to determine what is your content and what is your organization, or basically how you are organizing your content. And that's what we're going to look at now. We're going to be looking at the content of our web page, the organization of our web page, the navigation, the economy, and the security of our web page. So, Shaniza, could you read from planning all the way to attention over here, content attention? Since we don't have Shaniza, Abdur? Akila?
Yes, sir.
Can you read for us? Because apparently everybody else sleeping away.
From where to where? Planning to
Attention.
planning your web pages. Your first task is to decide the purpose of your website. What do you want your website to do? This determines what content you are going to put on your web pages, how it will be organized, and how the pages are linked. Content. It is very important that the message of your website is presented in a manner that captures the attention of those who visit it. The initial screen should attract visitors' interest so that they want to browse the site. The main screen on connecting web pages should supply enough information and maintain a visitor's interest enough to encourage repeat visits. The use of one or more combinations of color, images, sound, video, and tone of language can capture or lose a visitor's attention.
Good. So, as we mentioned already, we need to determine what is the purpose of our web page, who we are targeting. Then we got to look at what is the content, how we are going to organize that content, and how we are going to link the different contents together. So the first aspect of planning, after you would have determined who is your target audience, was your purpose, you have to determine what content will I put on this website. So content that will capture the person's attention. So if you don't know who you're targeting, how will you know what content is going to capture this person's attention? So if you don't know you're targeting school children or you're targeting teenagers, how will you know that you should put some nice animation, cartoons, bright colors, and so on? So knowing who you're targeting will help you to determine what content, what colors, what images, what sound, what video you are going to put so that you catch a person's attention. Now, for example, when you go to youtube.com, let me see, ensure. Good. Say you go to YouTube. Now, what if this? Say for example, this is the home page. Now, what if on this page all you were seeing a bunch of text? You're seeing a bunch of text. It looks something like it looks something like this here. What if you went on YouTube and you were seeing something like this here, and you have to click on a bunch of things to actually get to a video? Would you guys continue to use YouTube? Would you continue to use it?
No, sir.
Or would you find that annoying? That you have to go and click on a bunch of things to just watch one video. Would you find that annoying?
Yes, sir.
Only one person, what happened to the rest? So the main idea I'm trying to get at is that whatever the purpose of the website is, the content is supposed to catch the person's attention. That YouTube page, if there weren't a bunch of videos that are going to catch a person's interest for them to click on those videos, then they will not be interested in those that website anymore. For example, Pinterest. Pinterest is all about pictures. If you went on Pinterest and you saw a bunch of text there also, would that motivate you to continue to use the website? Or would you look for another website that is giving you images? So that's something to think about. What content you're going to put, and where or how you're going to make use of your content. You want to catch or attract your visitors' attention. So you have to determine, as mentioned already, what colors, what videos, what images, what songs you're going to use that would be appropriate to each person. So next we have the organization. How do we organize our content? Octavia, could you read that?
Web pages should be well organized with information arranged in categories and subcategories. This helps the user to browse the true information in a sequential and logical manner so that interesting subtopics can be selected for further reading. You should therefore sketch how the various web pages relate to each other and how you would want your website visitors to view the content on each web page.
Good. I doubt whether Octavia understood anything she read.
Okay, I'll go that again. Web pages should be well organized with information arranged in categories and subcategories. This helps the user to browse through information in a sequential and logical manner so that interesting subtopics can be selected for further reading. You should therefore sketch how the various web pages relate to each other and how you would want your website visitors to view the content on each web page.
Good. I hope that benefited you a little more. So, the content now. Organization refers to the content. So you determined that we're slowly losing people one by one. So organization refers to the content, how your content is going to be on your website. So say for example, you are developing a website for plants. So you would actually do something like this here that I'm about to do. You're gonna put plants at the top here. Plants is your main category or your main purpose of your website. So sell or advertise or share information about plants. You do something to do with plants. So to organize your website now, you have to categorize your information, categorize your content. So you might branch off with types of plants or the categories of plants. So under the types now, you're gonna have maybe fruits, and then you might also have vegetables. You might also have flowers, and then underneath fruits, you might have cashew. On the vegetables, you might have okra. On the flowers, you might have lily, and so on. You guys getting the idea?
Yes, sir.
So that is how you plan to organize your website. You first determine what is the content, what you have to put in the site, and now you have to determine basically how can I group the information together? What categories can I put them into so that when a person is viewing my website, they view information that is related to each other. For example, if we were to go to CXC's website, notice CXC has a link here called examinations. And if you notice, all of the examinations for CXC is under this one link. CPEA, CAPE, CSEC, and so on. They're all under this one link. You don't have to figure out which one of these links have those exams. The About Us has all of the information you're going to need about this organization. What is their history? What is their background? What is their team? What is their financing, and so on. So when you are designing a website, you need to figure out what are the similar information, what are the similar content, and you group them together under a certain category so that they are easily found by persons that are on your website. What services do they have? Consultory, examinations, information technology, whatever the case may be. So you have to group it into a sequential or logical manner. So if you can group it sequentially, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, if you can group it in that order, then that is an organized way of grouping your data. Or you group it in a logical order, an order that would make sense to persons. That can be compared to this design here. The order of the different types of plants, fruits, vegetables, flowers, and so on. And then you fall under what are some examples under those categories. So whichever you choose, the main idea is to organize into categories and subcategories so that persons can find information easily when they are on your website. You guys want to continue? Because I think I'm losing you guys. Atavia?
Sorry, kind of sailing.
Which part y'all sailing on?
So the most well is for planet. We didn't get an exact order you should use to plan really.
Okay, alright, let me go back from the top. You guys understand the categories and the types so far that we looked at?
Yes, sir.
Everybody on that same page?
Yes,
As
sir.
I said, I don't mean to be a delinquent or anything, but I gotta go and prepare for this sitting thing I have tomorrow.
Okay.
Bye. Good night.
Alright, so you guys got up to that stage there. So at the planning stage, when it comes to planning, so you need to, it's just like if you're planning a party or you are planning a function, you're planning something. you need to think of what are the different elements, the different factors that would make your party overall a nice, enjoyable party so that everybody that comes to your party is going to be able to enjoy your party. So it's the same for a website. People are going to come to your website, they're going to stay in your website. So you need to know how to plan to make it good, how to plan to make it better. Now, you said you had a difficulty with organizing. Organizing relates to content. So, as I mentioned, when you're planning, you need to determine what content you are going to have on your website. So, for example, let's look at CXC's website. CXC, their purpose is to share information to students about the various subjects, the various exams that they are offering. So if we go to examinations and we go to CSEC, what are we going to find? We are going to find all of the subjects that they are offering. Information technology, geography, music, modern languages, and so on. So that is their purpose, providing information on these subjects that they're offering. That is their content. If you search under any one of the subjects, you're gonna find additional information on those subjects. What are the different parts of the subjects? You're gonna find cover sheets, mark sheets. You're gonna find the syllabus, past papers, and so on for that specific subject. So that is basically the content of CXC's website. The different subjects, the different examinations, the different documents relating to those subjects, those are some of the contents. You guys following up to there?
Yes, sir.
Now, the organizing, how the organizing comes into play is that you want to put it in a logical order so that persons can find the content easily. So that we don't have to go and search all over the place for the content. So if you think about it, having an examinations tab at the top here, then you can see CSEC exam. Then when you click on that, you can see the different subjects. We click on maths. And when we click on maths, we can see all the information about maths here. Would you say that is a logical organizing of the content? Would you say organizing it that way makes sense? Or would you organize it another way? Anyone?
Sir, please repeat.
So we have the examinations tab here, and we have CSEC. So when we click on CSEC, this is one form of their exam. And under CSEC, we are going to find all the subjects that are under the CSEC exam. Economics, EDPM, and so on. So when you click on a subject now, that is when you are going to get more information about the subject. That is when you can read a description of it. That is when you can see additional information about it, and so on. So the question now is that a logical organizing of the data, of the content, or would you guys organize all of those contents differently?
I would never think of that. I think it's smart.
You think it's smart? You think it's logical? It makes sense to organize it that way?
Yes, sir.
Abdur?
Well, sir, I would probably put into categories like how art is a science stream, business stream, art stream, then the web arts business, yeah, tech stream, and then you want to divide it into subjects that they join those streams.
Good, not bad, not bad. That's that's a good way of thinking of it also. You could have added your own category there in that case. And and what you're thinking there is how you actually organize. Now this is just one example that I'm showing you, but you have the right line of thinking that when it comes to organizing, you need to find a way that would group it logically to persons that are going to view your information. So, for example, if you were developing a website for Saints now, and you were showing all of the subjects that Saints was offering, then you could have followed that same pattern that you were just describing. So you could have had subjects at the top here, and then you could have branched off with a different stream: arts, tech, science, business, and then you come down with all of the subjects that fall underneath each one of them: bio, physics, chemistry, POA, POB, and so on. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
Abdur?
Yes, sir, I guess. Yeah.
So it's basically not something that is right or wrong, but it's basically finding a pattern that people can relate to. Now, you were saying that the CXC website could have been organized this way. You put it on the arts, you put it on the tech, you put it on the science, you put it on the business. But did you know other schools don't have those streams? Other schools actually don't have streams. Not all schools, but some schools don't have streams. They don't have art stream, they don't have tech stream, science stream, business stream, they don't have any streams. It's basically you choosing what subjects you want to do. You go over into fourth form, 4A, 4B, 4C, 4D, and you choose whatever subjects you want to do at that fourth form level. So in that case there now, if that's the case, then it won't be logical to group these subjects here based on streams, because not all schools have streams. So it's something like that you have to think about. They would have thought that who is their target audience? It's going to be schools that have streams, schools that don't have streams. So how can they now facilitate that? How can they organize their content so that everyone will be able to find what they're looking for? And I actually think this is the most effective one. So having them individually, you can just simply look for what you want. But actually, I just realized it's actually right here. Um, you can have the different groups, maths and science. Let me see if it changes. Right. So these are the subjects under maths and science. So they do have the groups here. Just that you had to change it. So see, they actually took into consideration persons that want the groups like you, Abdur, so that you can easily find those subjects in those groups. So all of that actually comes back to the planning of the website. What can you do to make the website interesting to whoever is looking at the content? Are you only going to put it in one way for only one group of persons, so that only you could see all of the subjects at all the time, or are you going to facilitate persons that want to see it in groups also? That comes back to the organization of the content. It comes back to how are you going to plan for the content. Are you guys following?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, we're gonna pause here for today. Um, because the rest is a lot of information also, navigation, economy, security. So we're going to put a pause there. And so in revision of what we looked at so far is that when it comes to websites, there are some general categories. When a website is static, it means that the content does not change. When it is dynamic, it means that the content does change, as the words static and dynamic indicates. One doesn't change and one changes. E-commerce sites that deals with payments, and a web application is basically an application that basically gives you a website version on your mobile device. We looked at the different types of websites that we have, some of the different types: entertainment, corporate, shopping, information, social media, professional, personal, mobile, and directories. And then we started with the planning. How do you plan for a website? You start your planning by looking at your target audience. Who is going to view your website? Children, teenagers, adults, students, business workers. What is the purpose of your website? Second stage, who you are creating it for entertainment, for education, and that will determine what content you are going to put. That's why we are at this stage here. What content you're going to put, what videos you're going to put, what animation you're going to put, what text you're going to put. And after you would have determined that, what logical manner or what sequential manner are you going to put that content into, so that when persons navigate on your website, when they're on your website, they can easily find what they are looking for. Good. So next week we're going to continue with navigation. We're going to refresh back on the planning when we start back next week. And then we're going to finish off with the other stages of planning for the website. Any questions before we end?
No, sir.
Alright, so if you guys don't have any questions, that is going to be the end of today's class. Enjoy your weekend.
You too, sir.